Yeah.
Welcome to our third and final workshop in the Engagement Strategies for Digital Literacy. Welcome again to Ash, our wonderful presenter. Today we're focusing on using digital tools to help with assessment. And welcome Ash. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Nice to see you again. Thanks for coming. So yes, this is the third and final workshop for this series. I'm really excited to be here again, and I hope it's a really productive and helpful session for you. And at the very least, you get to kind of have some time to think about how you can use some of the tools that we've looked at in previous sessions and some new ones today to create some formative and summative assessments for your learners. So my thanks again to the Mountain District Learning Centre for having me, and also to the VDC Workforce Development Grant for putting this all together. I'd like to begin by completing the acknowledgement of country, and where our team acknowledges the traditional owners and custodians of the lands of the Wurundjeri and Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and all First Nations people. We wish to pay our respects to all elders, both past, present, and emerging. So, as is custom, a sort of fluid and flexible presentation workshop overview. With the view that obviously I want participants to kind of be practicing with creating some stuff, particularly from a digital assessment using your preferred tool, whatever you wish to use, of course. So just for those of us that were not here for workshop 2 and those of us that were, just a brief little overview of what we've kind of covered in that. Then I'm going to start looking at digital assessments in more sort of specific detail with a few particular tools, including forms. We'll go back to Kahoot and Quizlet, and also a new one which is called Wayground. Wayground, formerly known as Quizzes. For those of you that may or may not have used Quizzes in the past, it's now called Wayground. I don't know why they changed the name. That's the latest update on Quizzes and Wayground. And then we'll have a little break, and then get into some design and application of the tools and how you may use them to conduct digital assessments for your learners. So finish off with a little Q&A, time permitting and some next steps, and we'll continue to move on our way, and hopefully you can use some of these tools in your practices. So just some workshop objectives for today's session. I hope that you will have the opportunity to explain the role of digital literacy in enhancing low literacy moments in our online settings, participate effectively in digital assessments, really just getting people to be able to use them in your contexts. Identify and compare examples of formative and summative digital assessment tools. For example, Google Forms for Quizlet, but obviously not limited to that. You are, of course, welcome to use whichever tool you prefer. Design a simple digital assessment, a task suitable for learners with varying levels of digital experience. So really making this accessible and as inclusive as possible. Collaborate with peer activities to trial, evaluate, and refine digital assessment tasks. Apply best practices for adapting assessments to ensure accessibility and inclusivity. Learners, and utilize provided templates and adaptation checklists to plan digital assessments. So you might not be thinking of those while I'm here today, but these are sort of signal skills and learning objectives that you'll be a part of. Cool. So just to recap workshop 2, we looked at digital literacy as language learning for everyday and functional English, as well as everyday functional skills as well, and learning skills. Practical classroom uses for collaborative interactive tools, sharing and reflecting on peer-created activities, designing short and engaging live tasks to promote participation in conferences across different platforms. And we discussed strategies for bridging the digital divide in adult education. So if you recall, we looked at Padlet and we looked at Poll Everywhere. We looked at Chapter 3. We didn't get time to look at the slides, but is, I think most parties are fairly familiar with groups like provides learners. And yeah, that was it was good. It was good to sort of see people here using different digital tools, seeing what they offer, and unique edge once they bring for us to see and also for others. We also looked at why engaging digital tools support accessibility and how they build digital literacies and they build inclusive, personalized, and culturally responsive learning. We also reminded ourselves of the varied literacy levels among our students, whether that's through some language or sort of capability backgrounds, why acknowledging that many learners have interrupted education background levels and various visual habits. And some students, of course, and some learners have limited access to shared devices, conference areas, skill set, data access, and things like that. So we looked at what kinds of classroom activities build both functional language skills and digital confidence, and many of us were able to produce really components of tasks in relation to that, and how collaborative tools such as Padlet can be used to engage our learners, and what ways can live polling or generative AI prompts enhance learner participation and feedback, and how can we frame digital literacy as part of everyday functional English language everyday sort of skills. We also looked at how we can adapt digital tasks to learners who can technology experience. And we'll continue that today, thinking about how we can reframe those individual assessments. All right, over to you. So I like to do little check-ins with people. So here is our discussion. If you would like to participate in the QR code live poll, you may. If you would prefer to discuss with the person next to you or the person near you or with me, you may. Verbally, remember we're trying to create an inclusive and accessible learning environment. The question, since we last met, have you used, it's actually the same question as last time, but I'm still performing check-ins because we should be reflecting and evaluating how we're all traveling. Have you used or experimented with any of these tools in teaching? Yes, what works well? What surprised you? What did your learners respond to? If not, which tool are you most interested in trying? What has held you back? Wait. That's all right. Completely forgotten. Like they're not in just doing a little check-in on what we've been doing. Okay. Thank you for your response, Steve. That sounds good. I like your history timeline. Pretty cool. So it all starts with curiosity. It's interesting. That's always a good start. Thank you. Alright, it's cool, mate. They're about to fall everywhere. Did you use the word cloud or open-ended question? Open-ended question. Yep, right. It's quite good functionality on the red, and I think it's quite versatile for a free option. So I understand the time constraints that many of us are feeling. At the end of the day, these resources and these tools are meant to optimize resources, but they also take time to figure out, refine, and sort of, become comfortable with. But yeah, just like gradually, I would certainly encourage you to continue to use it. That's great, some really good responses. So it sounds like a variety of different tools are being used over the past sort of 3 sessions, which is good. So yeah, I would encourage you to keep exploring the different tools, keep exploring their different levels of functionality, the question types, and things like that. And that's really good that you can sort of check in with how your students or how your learners are responding to these digital tools, because that's really important as well. Obviously, it's one thing for us to expand professionally, but at the end of the day, they need to engage with our learners. So it's good that that feedback is received. Excellent. Right, so here's another discussion. So you may wish to discuss with the person behind you. Have you ever completed a digital assessment? Have you ever completed a digital assessment? It doesn't need to be in an education context. Maybe it was some sort of screening, or maybe it was a health check, or maybe it was an application to enter the United States of America, whatever. Have you ever completed the digital assessment? If yes, what was it? How was it? How did it work? How did it look? Do you remember anything about it? If you were bad? If no, why not? How do you think about work? What features or approaches would make it comfortable and accessible for you? So, over to you. Those are familiar, a digital assessment may or may not look like this.
I just want to get into America.
I emailed you a link. Did you receive it? I think I emailed it to both of you. Maybe you didn't. This is for the next activity. Maybe I'm not connected with
No, I should actually.
It's just they don't have QR codes, these ones. So if you're able to distribute the link, you're able to distribute the link via email to participants here. Obviously, I don't have their addresses.
It's easy to do that.
Yeah. One of the limitations of Google Forms is there aren't any QR codes.
Even those things that it's an IELTS test and you sit down with far people, it's have similar framework. Their ID and face to face.
Oh, you raise a good point, like academics. Absolutely.
I used to not listen to that. The other prayer about swimming is trying to take activities. It's almost like other than learning, but it would be almost like this is something to do before, you meant to do it before you come to class, to get your head in that space, thinking about the topic and then getting to talk about it. So the idea there was good because it didn't now count for anything. It wasn't an assessment, but it was something that I could set up to get them thinking. But you still have to get in the habit of doing it, and quite often that some students of course did it, and others haven't, and anyway sometimes at the start of class, anyway, you guys go on, do it quickly, so still trying to get that habit. I did find it better as something to get them onto a topic, rather than as an assessment at the end of doing something.
We use digital assessment when we were at Upper Yarra. We would load our written questions into the learning management system.
Yep.
And students could answer them online. So, and then we'd have all the marking guides loaded in as well, and then it would mark their assessments.
Was that during COVID, or was that to provide
No,
additional
that was-
like blended resources, or?
That was years ago.
That was years
Yeah,
ago.
okay.
We were trialling out learning management systems.
Very good.
Their major assignments
On to
were
quickly.
digital,
Yeah.
but anything that was written questions or like formative assessment,
Yep.
we wrote it in the learning management system.
Yep.
I think also I understand the concept of digital assessment. Obviously the questions in their own right are in such a way that it falls into the relevant bucket of the reason, the answer, as opposed to if you're looking at the answers in the digital assessment, you have to read the answers, you can identify some of the outcomes of the person in the answers. with the way they got to that answer, as I said, not an visual assessment, it seemed like it's A, B, or C, which answer, and it was so predictable that you're going to fall into one of those buckets as opposed to reading an answer.
Yeah.
And you can sort of find out, feel who the person is or how. But
The subjectivity is
Yeah,
really, isn't it?
yeah.
So that's, well, particularly with those question types, though, I guess the responding to that predicament could be creating more questions within the digital assessment so that you are able to see the thinking in the
yeah, that's it.
So I guess
So
it's
the
one of the
assessment
solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it's, is the digital assessment being scored by the computer, or is the digital assessment being looked at by the other person? So, yeah.
It is really, my daughter, she really worked for Mountain Centres for GCSEs in the UK.
Okay, yep.
And the computer marked a certain amount that were like short answer questions, or all the long questions were marked by the assessors. And usually it's a bit like, in those sorts of things, it's a bit of a blend.
Yeah.
Interesting, you know, you look at AI last week, at what point will AI start being trusted to do long answer assessments?
Well, with Asper, you're not allowed to mark long answer assessment using AI, but you are allowed to use AI to teach, especially if it's in an industry where AI is being adopted. But Asper says it's absolutely forbidden marking systems using AI, because you have to be able to make those judgment calls. AI can't think, so it can't make a judgment call when somebody can't do the answers out of the box, but it's still right.
I'm wondering at what point will they decide to start rethinking that kind of thing?
Oh, I don't know. It's so moving so fast.
Yes, it is. But I guess what this, like the key point that this raises is that teachers still have agency and some control and digital assessment.
That's it.
It's just about how we apply that. It was only yesterday when I was actually marking some tests. It was a grammar quiz, and yeah, I totally incorrect answers to see if there are any kind of like typing errors or space, like most of them was spacing it and it's like full stop error. That didn't actually mean the answer was wrong, so I had to change it to correct it. It didn't take me through it. It was like maybe 5 minutes of admin on my part that probably saved an hour in actual for the physical. So I guess that resource optimization would outweigh the coming back to it, but it does rely on some degree of agency still, and it should. I think particularly with written responses, what things that require thought processes and method and some explanation of how you got from A to B, or even an explanation of how you did use the technology or the
Even just with humans, for us as teachers, it's also
it's
it's sometimes challenging for us to keep open-minded to different answers as well.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to recognize when someone came with an out of the box answer.
Yeah.
But there have been times where I've written a question in a way that I want this answer and they've given me something very different. And it's almost like playing ego or just trying to make sure I stay open-minded. Hang on, is there validity in what they've said? And,
Yep, no, absolutely. So yeah, again, it's coming down to agency. We make judgments, we reflect on those judgments, and then we make the decision that's best for our learners, and also something that's fair, inclusive, and reasonable. And I think it sounds like we're doing that inadvertently, but it is still really important, particularly as these technologies continue to build and emerge and change. Any other comments about digital assessments? Do you like them, or do you find them intimidating? Would you rather do a paper-based one?
We would say no time. I must admit, I like them.
Yeah.
It's easy to have to do it on paper, so it's good for the environment.
Yep.
In a way, as long as you've got strong information.
Yes.
Which can be
Yep.
tricky sometimes.
And it can be boring.
paper assessments or digital ones.
Digital ones can be like if you're giving a paper assessment,
Yep.
you can ask them to answer in more different ways. You can get them to mind map something or
Yep.
draw something or, do a poetic response, but digital assessment doesn't allow that kind of variety of answers. It's quite, in order to make it a valid assessment, it has to be fairly rigid. Whereas if you do something that's not digital, you can make it very fluid in how you assess it.
Yeah, I feel like, it might be easier to disseminate to the workforce or the classrooms. There, and tick, we've done it. I've actually been affected. A lot of PD things done online, sort of in aged care. And a lot of it was just like, okay, I've done this because I needed to tick that box, but did I actually gain anything out of it? Did that actually prove anything? It was very, it's very questionable how effective is it. Whereas this kind of situation, where I discuss and share ideas and triggers other ideas, feels like more actual learning really happens, even though it'd be a lot harder to capture that learning, like document it.
Yes. Thank you. You've validated why I got the guys to discuss. That's exactly right. Like it is box ticking. I mean, I'm sure you've all had to do OHS and sort of different competency training modules here and elsewhere, and a lot of the time it's like engage with 39 slides and then go straight to the quiz, and then you're allowed to retry.
Yeah, now we've learned.
And then you have to do it every. Well, for me, I have to do it every 2 years. And it's stuff stuff's really important about kind of that workplace safety and like cultural competency and things like that. I care about that stuff, but I don't have time to read 39 slides.
I think OHS is a perfect example where it does fit.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much a black and white answers and files and so
Yeah.
see those prices.
Yeah, absolutely. And like sometimes it is good to kind of check in with our learners to see where they're at. And that can provide a pretty quick overview. It's not a fully inclusive overview, it is an overview of sorts. So, yeah, it is.
I was doing work in aged care. A lot of these online quizzes to do. A lot of them talking about how they really care about the residents and all this stuff. Yep. And then you go out on the floor and you see how staff are working, and there's very little care and there's very little of the stuff. So that was purely just this is something on the side, and now this is our day to day.
Yeah.
So there's not a narrowing. So sometimes we like a more practical assessment. So even OHS, possibly if that could have been done in some way with a role play or something, might actually make it more valid.
Yeah.
If you're working on site, I had a friend that worked at a tile making factory, and she was the OHS person, said they did toolbox talks. They'd have a morning tea every couple of weeks, and they would bring them all around, and they would talk them through whatever process. And they had a list so that over 12 months they would have gone through it. But instead of just getting them on factory guys getting them on notes, but they listened, and it would quite often would be. Then they could ask questions about the process or the change in the OHS. And a lot of site places do that. They, have morning tea, toolbox talk. We're going to go over this asset of OHS that we've noticed happening on site.
Yep.
So much more useful.
Yeah, so linking a practical scenario to training. Yep.
AI can't do that.
Plus also now you're less dependent on people's digital or even their basic language literacy, because in face-to-face you've got more options on how to overcome that.
And you're not assessing because you don't need to assess, you need to inform. And sometimes we assess things that we shouldn't be assessing, we should be informing and checking, are they doing it?
Yep.
So obviously, yeah, there are some pros, there are some cons, there are some limitations as well, but there are ways that we can use it. So just linking back to it, it's actually a good segue for what you were saying, Sue. I think it's really important to capture authentic demonstrations or in authentic contexts when we're creating a digital assessment in order to mirror the functional ways that skills are used in real life. Okay, so again, an application of things that are important. The examples I'm going to be giving are more about functional way of using it, but I want you to be able to use it and adapt it to a way that will suit you and your learners. Just a little heads up. Obviously, practical practice. Seems a bit clunky, but I think you understand what that means. Yeah, like it's useful for your students completing an assessment, tests and practical students. Fair assessment formats as well. Okay, quizzes, surveys, collaborative docs, simulations. Okay, it doesn't just have to be true or false, multiple choice, yes or no. No information given, they can be open-ended, they can be polls, they can be SharePoint documents, it can be a variety of different things. It could be a digital assessment. And then supporting differentiated assessment by adapting tasks to learners' literacy experience levels. And you may wish to challenge more advanced students, particularly with advanced language skills or digital literacy skills, compared to other learners that may mean something that is a bit more accessible. You can also provide instant feedback to reinforce learning and track progress in intellectual skills. So, for example, when a student gets an incorrect answer, you can produce an automated response to why that answer is incorrect. And then also we want to improve learner confidence in using technology while demonstrating confidence. So formatively or summatively, depending on the context, testing the skills that we're teaching our students while building their tech skills as well. It's not always possible to do all of those things, but if we can achieve any of these while we are creating digital assessment, then that's really good. So, yep, sorry.
I was just thinking like the way you've been using it to get like some information from us, almost a bit like what you were talking about as one Sue, but rather than only one person in the whole room, you know, talk about lots of people that is able to give feedback on something, and then the moderator can sort of disseminate it and share that, or people are able to read it depending on them. So that way, it's a good way of getting lots of people.
Or you can keep your responses anonymous as well.
Yeah.
Lots of people don't like identifying themselves with providing experience or feedback, which is fine. But yeah, it is good to kind of share that in the spirit of collaboration in different communities and practice and things like that. Okay, so as we identified, these assessments are used to assess learners' functional skills or their everyday knowledge in whatever context that you're in, and they can create a variety of forms. So hopefully, as a result of today's session, we're able to kind of practice using or creating digital assessments in a variety of different ways. That aren't just prescriptive, rigid, completely lacking subjectivity. There's also opportunities for multimodal evidence as well, video, audio, kind of like what we did last week. You can post images, you can post videos, you can post voice recordings. It doesn't just have to be written engagement or answer selection, and also enable easy tracking and emotional feedback on the platforms. But I think at this point, particularly as most learning environments turn to traditional face-to-face synchronous delivery, the prevailing view is that these assessments are still designed to complement and not replace traditional methods of assessment. But they can strengthen assessment practice by building in ways and show what they know and what they can do.
Yeah, just touching on that last point, that's what I was thinking about, is that we have a particular student that struggles with engagement with classroom space.
There's a few, yeah.
But there, when you put, you judgment based on their knowledge of how they know digital assessments, they are on top of everything, they're fastest that they can. It's incredible. You sit there worrying about what they know, and then you go, God, how much you know.
Yeah.
It's insane how that they can't articulate that, and I suppose that's where I worry and concern myself about digital assessments is that yes, it's capturing that, so we see that skill set and we're in that format that you can't hear. Yep. So, like I say, it's always important to see how good they are.
Yep. And just what I would encourage us to consider is that there are varying forms of engagement. It sounds like that particular one is more passively engaged and then actively engaged when it comes to engaging digital tools. So it's not on you necessarily to make sure that they're engaged all the time. Part of that is showing and seeing other ways that they do engage. Clearly, you've been able to see how they respond to digital assessments or digital tools platforms. So, yeah, that sort of thing, passive engagement is still engagement. It's just sometimes we're standing there and we can tell that the students not engaged in instruction, but they may be engaged in other ways, and that can be kind of confusing and frustrating. But yeah, I guess the balance is key as well.
Yeah, it's because of that you feel a window to,
Oh, absolutely.
which is great. Yeah. Plus, you know, for them to gain some confidence because of the way they are accelerating.
Sounds like it. Yeah. Good. All right, so here are some sort of examples of functional assessment tasks across program areas that you may wish to consider when you are creating them yourselves. Something like everyday communication, that could be a work style email, Google Form slide, a whole load of chat. Information handling, that could be something like an online form, induction appointment, extracting information into a share slide. Problem solving, that could be something using generative AI, using something like ChatGPT to draft a response to a customer query that edit and submit, or it could be a response to an email or a complaint, resume, cover letter, something like that. Collaboration seems to be the buzzword in the session today, which I love. We've been creating a short slide deck. It's something like, it could also be a share on document, Word document, Google document, anything like that. Also self-management, some uploading artifacts to learning management systems, email, time, things like that. Yeah, so there are a variety of different, these are quite sort of entry-level ideas, but hopefully this shows how digital assessments can be used to look at these skills with those fundamental benefits and functional skill developments. Okay, so as is always, we want to be ensuring that we are creating effective tasks with best practices in mind. Obviously, some of these might seem a bit sort of rudimentary and basic, but I think it is important. I'm sure you will do this, so let's be reminded perhaps. So keeping tasks lined up scaffolded. Okay. The students or the participants or the learners, they need to be able to complete the assessment. If they're not able to complete it, then it's probably not a great task. So we need to be in place that make them accessible and doable. You might want to include a rubric, particularly if there are open-ended questions with anything text related. Okay. I'm not suggesting that anyone spends extra time making a very complicated rubric. It would be useful, particularly if you're working in language areas or in humanities. Practice runs, okay, trying your assessments on each other or family members or on me, if you like. So practice runs, multimodal evidence. Obviously, this takes a little bit of time and it depends on the platform, but this can not only does it sort of provide more fun, interesting, engaging ways of responding to tasks and questions, but it also shows learners how they can show evidence of knowledge in different ways. Cool. And then obviously we want to align it with authentic context, which we need to say. It needs to be connected to what we want our students to demonstrate. And also if it's something safety related, it should be about something that is practical and actually important. And for things to improve, we do rely on some peer correlation, reflection, and regulation. So getting any feedback on the assessments that you're building or the tasks, you're creating is really important. Cool. So paper-based tasks, tests, and worksheets, if you wish, could be reformatted, not replaced, or reimagined, or whichever word you'd like to use to describe it. Things like online quizzes, forms, and submissions can replace those tasks. Teacher observations in class presentations, you could use recorded audio, video, e-portfolios, discussion boards. That's certainly a digital assessment that I used a lot in my teaching practice during online teaching in 2020, 2021. I didn't really think of it as a digital assessment, it turns out it is, because we're using digital tools to assess learning. So sometimes these things happen in the background and that's it. Focus on written and spoken evidence. Okay, again, multi-modality, also multi-modality steps, images, or video history. Feedback with comments. You can provide immediate video feedback. Your software and your tool. And then if something's hard to track on progress at the time, you can. It's not always, but there are instances where tracking storage and moderation is easier. Yes, and obviously, again, strong testing core knowledge and skills. So authentic application process. So authenticity, and as a few of you mentioned, is really important in creating these tasks. All right, let's have a look at this digital assessment.
I emailed everyone.
Excellent. Now, one of the limitations of Google Forms is it won't let me create a QR code. So you'll have to respond to the email link. Don't have it, but we
It's not getting you in class.
yeah, sorry.
I mentioned the worksheet now.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, so we're checking off a few limitations, which is nice.
Not working. That's why I had that on your iPad. Wouldn't worry about it.
Nobody ever wants. Nobody else wants.
But if you would delay on these things, working now,
I do not.
yeah, probably.
You'll probably notice that the question types are quite rigid. It is just a demonstration of the assessment tool. Correct? Yeah, that's what it is. Pass my test. Did you just got you? Not at all. Good.
Mine.
You're aware or not? Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I checks everything. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, if I ever had to teach about something, I need a lot of help.
Yeah, so whenever you've got like, you're doing more,
No, it's interesting about Copilot because if we use any generative AI applications, most of the Copilot work because of the subscription that we've got with Microsoft Office.
and it's kind of system.
Yeah, okay. Officially.
Well, what you do, I don't know, so you can, that's what you do.
Yeah. No, I like it. I mean, it's all good. And obviously, yeah, you can. I wonder if you could, do the same with Microsoft Forms, which is the Microsoft version of Google Forms. And it does have QR codes for Microsoft Forms, which is something I like about it. I chose not to use Microsoft Forms today because of the subscription limitations that might exist. But yeah. Has everybody finished my challenging quiz? Look, the questions are pretty. All right. So thank you for completing my quiz. Obviously, I've set this up with my personal Google account, which is linked to my Gmail account. You know, when you start up a Google account, you have access to a variety of different Google applications. Google Forms is one of those. Just in terms of the functionality, I can sort of quick responses. Let's see, that's the average scores. Sorry. This is hard to see on this extra set up. And then yeah, you can kind of look at, obviously these are the different things, and I just added 3 images to this as well when I selected the question types. Yeah.
Are you able to feed like the URL into one of those QR code generators?
Yes, you can. Yeah. I just didn't do it because I wanted to highlight that that's a limitation. So the Microsoft equivalent, Microsoft Forms, does have a QR code enabler. I actually prefer Microsoft Forms, but I don't know if you have a Microsoft Office subscription, so that's why I didn't show that. But it's very similar. But yeah, we use it. We use it at work a lot of the time because it's quite easy to distribute the service as well. So yeah, I've given this assessment. I can now go and look at. Oops. The responses as well. You can see which questions were more difficult than others. There's a data there. I can see that 100% got true or false correct. I can see that one student got the far point. One student might not be the best baker. So to get those portions right when you're baking is very important. Question. So yeah, you can kind of see the data breakdown there. Obviously, when you distribute it, you can kind of add any, like I can share this here, and then you can kind of check the
emissions and things like that. Coffee will be distributed fairly easily. There's some settings as well. Yeah, so this is sort of set for immediate. If you're interested in open-ending questions, then provide the manual with you. So this, yeah, its functionality is pretty good. For kind of basic checking in kind of settings as well. So yeah, that's a quick little overview of how you can use Google Forms. There are a variety of different questions as well. It's got some fairly basic types here, multiple choice. So, true or false followed by multiple choice, which is any questions around the functionality of Google Forms before we move on?
We have an online question.
Great.
What is the best digital assessment tool that you have used and why?
Best digital assessment tool that I've used and why? I hesitate to nominate one that's the best. I think it really depends on what you're assessing, what you're comfortable with. I like things like Padlet because I think they're very accessible and multimodal output. It's really fun and exciting. I think they have good audio, video, other visuals as well, like photos as well as responding to things. And I think also what I like about something like Padlet is that it is a digital assessment, but it really requires teacher agency. They need to go and engage. They need to engage with the student output. It's not automatic. It kind of requires that intervention from the teacher. So I like Padlet for that reason. For something that for something with more automated modes of assessment, I like things like Google Forms and also Microsoft Forms because they're quite easy to share and you can ask a variety of question types as well. So it really just depends on the learner and the context and the skills that you're assessing. Some things, true or false, multiple choice, yes or no, or sort of closed activities where there's only one answer. Certain platforms lend themselves better. But for something that requires more subjective evaluation, something like Padlet's really good. That would be my answer to that question.
Yep. Can you list or any other tools handle an image? Yeah, it's a biology thing. Image of a skeleton.
Yeah.
Click on the fibula.
Yep. Potentially, yeah. I haven't tested it from like an anatomy point of view.
Not necessarily that, but that idea to be able to
like
the correct part of
click the correct part of. Yeah, I mean, it's something that we can look at when we're making this later, potentially. I know that I've used some within Canvas, like HIP, that allow dragging, labeling, and typing to get up to do that. I think this is probably a little bit more basic than that, particularly given that it's free. Cool. All right. So, some of the nitty-gritty. This is free, including the Google Workspace subscription. Okay, which is good. Computers, tablets, phones, existing classroom devices can be used. You can get around the QR predicament by getting a QR generator. They're pretty easy. I said they're pretty easy, but I'm going to phrase that there. Reasonably straightforward to set up. But as with anything, it's a good practice. But it's not like an official QR code. It doesn't just spit out a QR code like Padlet or Microsoft Forms or whatever the other applications that we've used. Yeah, so it's obviously cheap and cost effective. You can get optional upgrades, but for those kind of assessments, probably not necessary. internet access is required to complete the quiz. So obviously that's something that needs to be considered. And you can apply for internet connectivity. Some degree of digital literacy is needed. Obviously, we need to scaffold that, and anything for open responses requires manual grading with a multiple choice and auto grading for short answers. Can be done by Google Forms. And as we mentioned before, some of us have already, which is a very important area to consider, potential for academic integrity to be compromised. So that really depends on how we wish to deliver the assessment. If that's something that we may wish to use as a summative assessment in the future. And so it's just limiting responses to finding the in-person assessment. Thinking about weighting and things like that as well. But generally, I think it's a fairly easy, low-cost tool for assessing functional skills. Another one you can add to your digital tool toolkit. All right. So, you may remember when we used Kahoot some weeks ago now. I think it was in June. That was more for an engaging learning experience for our learners. But we can also use Kahoot as a platform where learners answer questions on the devices for the purpose of assessment. Kahoot is engaging, it's fast, it's colourful, it's multimodal, you can use it in teams. You can use images if you which is loud, you can slow the pace. You can set assessments or activities remotely or live, depending on how you wish to assess your learners. You can use it for a variety of different purposes, particularly good for vocabulary development, food, jobs, verbs, object identification. Use of using practice, but also test cultural and functional knowledge, and expected behaviors, some degree of knowledge and message Again, like most digital tools, it aims to show how questions can support comprehension. It can allow us to use images and context clues for learning. Can highlight the language, verbs, signs, and short phrases, and you can adapt the questions into the fluid. And you can, and this is one of the key tools that I don't think I showed you in the first workshop, but if you are looking at this from the lens of assessment, it does have reports, even with the free version, that track individual student progress, which is what we want to be doing when we are assessing our students anyway. And obviously, we want to continue that into digital systems. Cool. All right. Cool. Let's have a look. So let me set it up. How many people forgot that? Well, you're only allowed 10 points in free version, so we have 9 people. Which is a very frustrating limitation. The old paywall. So, as I mentioned before, you may wish to assign it for homework. You can do that if you wish. You can just change the time. You can set it, I don't know, but you may wish to change it to that. If you want to set it as a delay delivery, change some settings as well. Obviously, the one is about standard, which is what happens with the free subscription.
Probably gonna host this live. Just so you can see it. Yeah, it's kind of, bring from the competition. So if you have a game in, you can copy the link, this little link, I put it down on the slide, if students don't have access to QR codes, and then plays the QR codes, so it's massive. Yeah, it's, you are, if you want to, you don't have to, I can't make you do anything, but. Just.
Okay. That's the first one.
So yeah, obviously it's really good if you have 7 students in your class or something like that. It's that's exactly a paid subscription. It's probably worth getting a paid subscription just for the additional features in the analytics and having more students participate. But
Which subscription do you recommend? Because there are various ones and they cost.
I would just be looking at a subscription that gets you more than 10 players. I don't think anyone need, unless you're giving lectures, you probably don't need one that's 100 plus players.
Assessment, you could have, oh, sorry, you don't get assessed because you're number 11.
Well, then you wouldn't use it if that's the case, so that's just where we make the right decision. But, yeah. For the starting. Alright, I'll give you a go. Yeah, so that would depend on what you really want it for, if you want it for mass appeal.
And if you want to implement AI.
Yep, you can use certain AI bits, particularly with images in the free version, but it's usually pretty capped. But there are ways that you can get around that. You can go to kind of like stock photo or bits today. If it's AI or free, copyright free media you're after, there are ways around it that are legal. So yeah, it's about playing around. But like if you do have a paid subscription, it's certainly more. All right, let's have a go. Okay, so credible English vocabulary comprehension quiz. Well done. Okay, so provides some feedback. You notice that I included an image. All right. There was still 20 seconds to go. You can skip to get the game moving forward. All right, we've got a live leaderboard. Jess, you're doing very well. Faster than everyone else. So here you may wish to scaffold, so instruct the students to read the sentences carefully, which I did not do.
I find that with a mind, students don't often read.
So that could be a limitation or an opportunity to enhance scaffolding. It's up to you how you want to use it, but it's a very good point. Good.
What about full stops?
Yeah.
You're all wrong.
All wrong.
I'll take that as constructive. Thanks. I am a good company which I'm restricting back now to. I'm not even for mistakes. So, okay, so we've got a line leaderboard here. Oops.
Ah, it's just the position.
Yeah, we
Match up the position of the color.
that's right. And that's a classic reaction when a line makes a mistake. Good, okay.
World is on fire. Alright, good. So obviously it's too easy for this group, but you're able to see the live sequence of delivery. You're able to see the images. I've created a few different question types. Gap fills, which is correct. These are all within multiple choice, just showing the very different ways to make multiple choice questions. Okay, I hate pizza every evening, I guess. I hate pizza. I guess that's.
I didn't like that red one.
Oh,
I guess that's capital E.
Not like E.
That's, yes, well, there we go, that's capital E. I guess, I mean, and the other grammatically,
Talk to you about,
I hate pizza every evening. Yeah.
that's certainly,
Yes,
yeah. No, it's not grammatically
Yes,
incorrect.
There's also, I've missed the quotation mark there, and I've made a casing error. So obviously when you do it, don't make the same mistakes that I did. The teacher has lost points, gone down a little more.
Well, you know, we're all aware of how it goes. Okay, yeah, so. That's right. Yeah. You're listening to off.
It is good, like, from a competitive point of view. I don't know if you guys. Right, when I messed up that question, the position, I was like, no! I actually cared.
Okay, and you can actually hear the music. I didn't realise it connects to my enabled audio. So if you do have access to a projector with audio, it kind of has fun arcade kind of music.
Right, so just in terms of like, I haven't got you about the first assessment.
Okay, so that's a fairly basic analysis, because we know that that's not entirely true. Well, we know that it is true, but it doesn't really glean a lot of insight. That every question was answered correctly, but I think there were two mistakes.
It's beautiful.
So it says, check that you stopped sharing the screen before viewing performance in front of participants, so you don't want to embarrass anyone. And then you've got kind of like percentages. It's not, it doesn't do anything. But I can then go, I'll anonymize the participants, not the correct answers. But then we can see each participant and their score as well. So then we're able to actually, this is where our normally when we do a Kahoot, it's just for fun, we're like, yay, everybody have a chocolate, well done. But this is actually where we can. This is how. This is how we can actually look at. This one's there, and then we can go and do this there. So we see the two students are 8%.
Allegedly.
And then we can then track which question, the percentage of correct answers for each question, and then we can see the question 3, question 5 had 89%. Of the 2 questions were there incorrect. So yeah, that's Kahoot. So I don't think that, does anyone need a refresher on how to set up a quiz in Kahoot?
I really like what you said about accessibility.
Yep.
I think that's probably the most accessible. If they want people very low digital literacy levels, and they're scared,
most you might have a little bit of teething in with the scan the button and the QR code. But once it's there, there's no typing involved.
So I guess that's right. So the only difference between making Kahoot into an assessment versus an engaging tool or activity is actually just looking at report analytics. Obviously, this is quite, it's not superficial, but it's not telling us much more than which students answered which questions incorrectly, but it is good for kind of that progress tracking and checking, which is a big part of assessment and because this is
Question for you guys on laptops, was it still fiddly trying to select something else to start, as opposed to a touch screen?
What about using the points?
Yeah,
Easy, quick, easy to find.
the only issue I have is I would have won.
I hear a jaded tone.
I would imagine it would be.
Or is this-
All right, well, maybe during the break, for those that need a refresher on how to set up a Kahoot, I'll go over that.
Is there anybody else? Sure.
I kind of thought with the audio, with the new numeracy units in the CGA, you have to assess oral techniques, which is listening activities. So you could do that. At the moment, I've typed a script and fed it into a generator, like a voice generator, with some maths problems, and I can listen to the recording, stop it, work out the answers. But that might be a bit better in Kahoot.
It'd be good in Kahoot. It would be good, like this a bunch of sort of like text messaging platforms that use good speech to text recognition conversion now. ChatGPT would be good for that as well. But voice recording functions quite good at the moment. I think that
Yeah, but I
that's
don't
coming
record
from-
my voice, and the kids don't even want to record theirs. So
Yeah.
I'm using AI generated voices
Yep.
for them to listen to.
Are you able to change the speed and the accents and things as well, and like the gender and
Not with the free ones. They're
Yeah.
not. It's not that easy. But you can just pause it.
Yeah.
It took a few days to have a.
Yep.
There's one that you can create a podcast, but then you've got two people talking, and it doesn't actually make it questions. So I've used create a podcast to give them listening activities, so they listen to the podcast, and then there's questions about the podcast. But this was they needed to specifically listen to numeracy and do some, This is for the new CGA that's just been released. So you used to just do numeracy, and you could add in a bit of voice if you want to, but now you have to assess it.
Just thinking, because
They
of
don't want
the,
to be presentation, so
oh yeah,
they don't want to. And, so you can do some verbal questions, but I thought it's much easier with the recording, I can listen to stop it, rewind it.
What about the idea of the oral question, especially if you're working in, especially if you actually formulate the questions and answers, like someone begins, in answer to what platform or what time to go to, and we have, as soon as they go into the space that involves them thinking and listening to the answer, it's hard enough to answer the question that they're in the process with their headspace. So if the question is like, what platform and what time is the lecture, and they're listening to the answer orally, it's often very complicated.
Maths problem was about speed and distance.
Yeah,
So they had, which is like a mental looking.
just that's the thing about the bias in the supermarket, I'll get into the sense of how much that costs for a second rather than 60. Because the brain is just so scared and so anxious about that whole situation.
also, will actually start being pre-assessment rather than the way we can coordinate some of that pre-assessment.
Yeah.
Because now it's a real hold up. They can't come to the classroom and do it because it's actually going to do a class.
Because it's free assessment, yeah.
Plus, you can stop your class while we sit there doing an assessment for one or two people because they just showed up. But what are we going to ask the admin staff is stop and do pre-assessments just when somebody happens to show up.
Yeah.
Like it's something that they could just, okay, here, just come and sit on here quickly. And it's not too challenging, but getting some kind of reporting about.
Yeah. We're looking at a new student management system, and if you buy me on this, we actually does ACS testing online. We probably get the students to do, but we haven't talked about they would say no, because we do ACS testing on our students. Not that it doesn't tell us in the way. And
I don't like-
it's a bad day, I don't quite like what we feel. It doesn't really tell you what we really know, it's telling you what we know about that.
That's always going to be with it, any kind of assessment here, you just got a snapshot.
Yeah.
It's a good point. But right now, we're going to challenge it, how are we going to get people, we're going to get all people nicely lining up
No, I mean, you
during the
do,
holiday break and signing up and all that. This is, do a
it's been
pre-assessment.
designed, so you have no idea.
Yeah.
No idea, I've never met a room that accepts it, difficult to engage. They've only made new students.
Yeah, exactly. Which is a very different animal, but I mean, the hard part right now is to create some kind of evidence that it wasn't pre-assessment, not do it in such a way so onerous for us. So at least we can go, look, we did this with them, and then we ended up putting them all in the same class anyway, because that's all we can run. But at least we've done something that gathers some evidence at the start, we started
Well, did you bring out the libraries? When you bring out the libraries, I would get them to select the book and get them to do the 5 interviews on the book. And then if they read a paragraph, they read 5 previous words, and you go back and try and say
But can you imagine, I've got
But if
15 people and the kids' story time is happening, I've got 15 people, I'm one teacher, how do I do that?
Get them to select the book that they can read. If they come back with one that's only your Chinese English, you're not able to select the English book.
And also,
I mean, you've got to make it.
it's the limitation of how does one teacher now assess all of them, currently in one session, and not have everyone else spending 95% of the session doing nothing to all the thumbs. And also, how do I document that? To make actually whoever happy, say, well, there you go. That's okay for me to get an idea where they're at, but I can get an idea during class anyway.
Well,
We need
that's-
documentation to prove
Yeah.
what level they are, and they're supposed to have been tested before they even got to the classroom. That's
You
their
can't
expectation.
do that when you do it 20-hour course. It's ridiculous.
But you can do it at the end of the 50-minute lesson, if it's about a point in English grammar or something like that, and it's kind of like checking on what skills are required for that period of time. I mean, something like this is never going to provide a holistic evaluation of the 20-hour, 7 modules or a whole course. I don't think it's designed to, it's just going to kind of support a current issues. So just coming back to some of the features that were mentioned before, we can set or assign, so it can be done asynchronously, also be done synchronously as we did, and then you can do reports to track student progress. So just in terms of some of the pros, it's pretty fun, it's engaging, it's game-like, but it does focus on recall and not higher thinking skills. So it really just depends on what you're trying to assess. It does provide real-time feedback. However, the fast pace may disadvantage some learners, as was mentioned at the back. Some students see the time and they panic. visually accessible, and they're asking like options, which is good if you've got less than 10, sorry, if you've got more than 10 students, sort of functionality within player limitations. But it does require devices instead at some degree, which is interesting. I don't think I use the phone. Pretty easy to adapt, but there's not a whole lot of feedback. I just tells you if you're right or wrong. In terms of the reporting, I showed you the percentages, and I showed you percentages of questions and also identified individual student scores. I did advanced features, and then like adding analytics in the paid version much more in depth. Obviously, yeah, and then the template layout capacity is a pretty good limitation. So yeah, it's a good and engaging tool for low stakes, checking in on comprehension and understanding, but it doesn't really assess any higher order thinking skills. So it's just kind of higher order skills. So it's just something. Cool. All right. I think we'll have our break. If you have any questions, please come and see me. I'd be more than happy to answer any of those. If you wish to think about something during the break, we will be continuing to look at another couple of tools that you can use to create a visual assessment. And start. It will be obviously not compulsory or essential, but if you would like to think about which tool you might be interested in using to create a visual assessment, that might be helpful for you. Okay. Enjoy the break. Thank you.
That's gonna work, maybe get into the task trigger. We might go that anymore.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is one of the, so just looking back, going back to Quizlet, which we looked at in the, sorry for where I'm bending. That we looked at when we had workshop one. Obviously, you can use this as an assessment tool as well. Okay, so there's a few different ways that we can do that. Here we have some vocabulary. Okay, obviously you need to teach the students or pre-teach the students the vocabulary. It's pretty elementary levels of English. We have some cards here. So if you wanted to do a quick, fun, fast-paced, and engaging check-in style assessment, you could use Quizlet. You can also choose between individuals and random teams. Okay, so I think we did individuals last time, so after something more collaborative, you can do teams. So let's give it a go.
You can't assign things.
Volume settings. Join again.
You can't assign things.
You can randomize them. You can assign teams, yes. Well, yeah. No, that's a really good point. Yes, you can assign teams manually. You can add strong students with weaker students. It's a good way of it doesn't get me really It's also got an app. The app's quite good. And if you can't use the QR code, you can always copy the link and then go through URL.
It's a zero, not a.
0, yes. Okay.
So with the teams, do you have to do that before or after they do it?
Just as you you can assign the teams manually, or you can assign randomly. I'll just show once she's joined. Hi, students. Looks like Steve. Yeah. Sorry, Steve. If you want to rejoin, you can. But yeah, so I just want to show you the collaborative team part of this.
That makes it very easy.
Right, it's going to kick it out.
Yeah, right.
You rejoin.
Just say,
So I'll just start. If you've been kicked out, then you can like one. Okay, so then you can either customize themes or you can assign them. It's up to
You
you.
guys customize teams, that's like take a while to
I don't know why.
Oh,
Team two. Surprisingly slow for random.
Oh, that's me, choose my
Just doing
team.
it for the dramatic effect.
So this is this.
Oh, no, you actually says choose your team, it's not about your teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than here, it says choose your team.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'll go to very
You can choose your team. And then obviously
good.
the teacher might construct it, and if the teacher doesn't like it, then the teacher can shuffle. Okay, there we go. I like those. Okay. So then obviously when you're scaffolding this, you would say, okay, go and find your team. So I'm going to tell you to do that now. Find your team. Guys, find your team. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, sometimes students Oh, it's kicked you out. I'm sorry. Okay, well, let's just see how it goes. I'll come over. Looking at your phone. One person will have the correct answer.
Oh, do we have to?
What's the picture?
Yeah, that's
So there's each of the vocabulary item. One person.
And now
we don't have
I'm kind of new picture, but no different options. Oh, the way for actually
Somebody else?
Yeah, so one is that's the way we do.
Alright.
We got one.
My options are completely unrelated.
Yeah. So therefore, you worked, and then you worked together.
Yes.
Good. Okay, so we will just did we?
With ostriches,
Ostriches are at the back. And creative from hieroglyphic. So
Who was the number one?
So in order to get the correct answer, yes, you do need to communicate with the people in your group because one person will have it and then you eliminate which one is incorrect.
so that was timed, or was it whoever got the first?
There are probably timing functions that you can look at in stats. They got all the questions correct without any errors. If you make an error, you go to 0. So it's quite strict. There might be a setting that you can change. Yeah. So let's play it again. And this time, let's. Yeah, I'm not saying. Yeah, well, let's really embellish the collaborative nature of it in terms of like just working with who's going to write it. Okay, so. Yeah, I can't remove the roofer unless I start the whole game again.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, just start.
Okay. So maybe I want to shuffle teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Because the other team were too strong. So now I'm trying to differentiate.
Who's stand up? Stand up. Stand up. Hey, do you want to go? Okay, I might need to go. Hey, Jess and Steve.
I'll see you on with Sue and Magda. You've moved. So you might need to stand here, so let's get to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk.
So obviously with the 4 or 5 Gs, but then makes sense.
Yeah. You need to move up this way. Stand over here and come over here. The way to be taken, you can't.
I have been mentioning that Wi-Fi connectivity can be a bit of a concern. So anyway, so let's start again. Let's see if there's any difference. Okay, remember one participant has the correct answer.
Oh, 2.
You need to work out who's got it.
Because I might have the answers. Oh, here we go.
No, Ali must have it.
You just choose this color.
You're not in us.
You're stuck.
So we're stuck.
We can't play with that.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, so well done. Okay. So just instead, both applications to the internet and compliance, so that you might want to consider moving them to then you might want to consider 3 functions.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 functions. Bonus, so there we go, accessibility. If your internet works, you can play. So in that situation, you would need every person connected to Wi-Fi.
Just the same thing that was mentioned.
Yep. And then you get the cool save it like music. Okay. Cool. So that's again, you can assign activities just like you can with Kahoots. There are a variety of a variety of ways that you can also test within the free version. You just need a quick study of flashcards. Thank you. And then sort of go through the different flashcards. And then there's multiple choice opportunities that you can play, so we do asynchronously as well. So obviously,
What was that saying?
okay, there's a slide answer. So, yep. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Yeah, so yeah, some different ways of sort of testing learning. Generally, the functionality is quite good. I think this.
Just show the hint. Can you just show the hint? I can't remember that.
It's a brush. Yeah. It's probably giving away a little too much. Yeah, so yeah, you've got some different sort of learning things to do there as well. Maybe we can take a look at so I think these functions and stuff like that, different ways of functions. Yeah, to my knowledge, there are no limitations on the amount of activities you can set up to, which is a positive, whereas with Hoot and Padlet, there are only 3 unique activities you can set up before you need to delete the instruction. All right, so yeah, some different sort of ways of assessing learner progress. Let me just compare you can do the live, individual, or team modes. You can also do the test assessment, which I just showed you, where there are some multiple choice typing question gap fill type tasks, also some spelling tasks as well. All of these will generate multiple choice style questions. Yeah, so quite a fun activity. I really like collaborative live synchronous delivery that we just did. I know we had some problems with this now, but as long as everyone's set up on their device with Wi-Fi, it's a really fun way of building communication, collaboration, and engagement. So the free versions have great flashcards with text, images, and audio. The reports aren't particularly detailed, but it can track how students are progressing. So yeah, there are other things you can do, like screenshots from student shared results. A variety of different study modes, like we just looked at, flashcards, learning, live testing, matching, testing, style, gravity. Generally, for the images in the book, it's the premium result, the premium description is not really required. But it is if you want advanced analytics and detailed reports. Different types of questions as well. And then the tracking of progress is really done with typing the scores right along. So we know that table will come back pretty good with vocabulary and throw pretty quickly. And then we can learn from that experience and see if we can sort of prepare students or group students for make things a bit more enjoyable, a bit fairer, and sort of ledger a bit. All right, so I'll show you one more, and then we'll get into designing your own assessment. This is called Way Round, which used to be called Quizzes.
Bless you.
Bless you. Alright, so you start, like obviously, if you just declare that you're a teacher, it lets you sign up for free. If you're not currently a teacher, obviously, things like that. And then I'm going to go to my library.
Actually, people on the left would like these.
These days. I don't know. So I've created an activity about Melbourne. Like most of these applications, you can sign. There are a variety of things that you can do, but I'll just show you what this is. Alright. Now, you can share via cameras, meetings, so join my quiz, where you can copy that URL code, and you can
joke that's so small, yeah?
Sometimes things are very. Yeah, so it's called this is forever, and then I try to find it. Yeah, or it's not. Good question. This is the free version. I put it in my slides. I'm not sure if I remember. Sorry. It's definitely more than 10. I'm able to run a quiz up to my issues. Cool.
This one has the.
Oh, yeah. Spend too much time. Good. Yeah, okay, so 782 or 67. And then, you know, if I'm getting annoyed with my students because they're spending too much time, like if I just want to start the activity, then I can. Okay, so you're looking at your screen and answering the question. That's the live class accuracy function. Cool. Pleasant hotel style music. Oh, someone got the wrong answer. Let's come back. Bother.
Oh, frozen.
Frozen. It's also a show only top 5 function. Okay, so. What happened?
It's frozen.
Oh, okay. Well, right, and then if we determine that everyone's finished and
I want frozen.
okay, I can see that soon.
I've unfrozen.
Right. All right, good. Well done. Then we have our live board and CD winning. Well done to CD. Special mentions to Steve and
think. I mean, we've got kind of like nice visual summary of who went well. Okay, then you have your reports here. You can email parents if you want. I work in adult education, so I've never needed to do that. So I'm grateful that I've never had to do that. You've got, the types or the variety of the sort of extent to which things are corrected. That's the kind of question you want. You can review the questions if you wish to review the whole class to see which questions you want. We've got, an analysis of how each student went. I don't know how the time, presumably you get X amount of points for being correct and X amount of points for the speed which you answer. So again, it is kind of the case. It does advantage students that are quick to answer questions. However, accuracy is always important as well in the score. And then you've got questions here. And then you've got your kind of analytics here. So that question where you go to one of those, take the class 4 seconds on average and everybody got it correct. So yeah, it's the free version. I think it's pretty cool, pretty neat. I've been using this for a long time in my professional practice. These images are all in stock photos or like account created or copyright free or copyright usable as well. So yeah.
Just grab a non-copyright image and ask Google to Google AI. Please add 1 pixel to make it a unique view.
Yeah, that's right. You can always just take a photo of your own toothbrush if you wish to use toothbrush. Which I don't think anyone has done yet. Anyway. So yeah, that's kind of how that works. And then maybe we can have the next bit. There you go.
That was different to Kahoot and all the other.
I think the difference here is that you actually, I think the analytics or seeing how students perform in their time is better than Kahoot. The game style as well, it's sort of more self-paced. You sort of forget the questions you answer, whereas Kahoot's kind of, you've got 30 seconds or 10 seconds or 20. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's a key difference as well. Yeah. Also, it's just all these sort of different types of questions as well. I'd say the reporting and the analytics are better. It's also more sort of different types of questions. I think the scope and breadth of question types is better. Is more better, that's always more variable. Yeah, Kahoot tends to be just like pick the color. That's kind of it. So yeah, I'd say it's more sort of statistical. All right, let's do a little summary and then we'll go to you guys that play around with the different sorry. All right. So like most of these, it's an interactive learning platform designed to enhance classroom engagement. But you can also use it for gamified assessment and multimedia-rich content. The basic plan offers essential tools for educators to create and deliver engaging activities without the need to advance presentation. So yeah, quizzes, lessons, flashcards, interactive videos, multiple choice, polls, word cloud functions. I think the word cloud recently got paywalled though. So poll everywhere. I would recommend the word cloud at this point. You can conduct live teacher-based sessions or assign activities for these completion. So yeah, you set them work. And then you can see how they perform on the quiz. You can download that information. Yep, leaderboards. lively it was. You could see overall class and cohort progress. If you do it live, I could see that the student or the class average was 92% or something like that, which is kind of good for tracking like whole of class progress. Level check. 20 resources have been developed. Yeah, so perhaps where I do work, I say you could actually bring in 1 to 20 resources for free accounts. Pretty good. It's definitely better than Tableau. And which I think Tableau is 3 because it's already. So, yeah. And then you can use a variety of feature created resource content which is already available. So you might find someone else's quiz that you really like, and then you can sign that. Kind of check it. You know when you tick a box and you kind of wave your rights? Yeah, I think you sort of do that when you sign up for this. So if you are concerned about intellectual property, particularly if you're using any MDLC sponsored support or other curriculum, so maybe just check that with the relevant managers to ensure there aren't any copyright issues. And it says a basic class on this report, which it is basic, but I think it's for a free version, it's certainly more sophisticated. So yeah, I thought that was pretty good. So yeah, there are, as we sort of saw, you can apply the quizzes to a sort of context you want, whether that's vocabulary, functional English, cultural knowledge, content knowledge for the subjects that you're teaching or working with. Worth remembering is that you've seen the recording capabilities. Yes, basic recording, but I think some things are more basic than others, and I think it's actually a good sort of checking and finding where the students have it and others have. It's pretty good. 20 resources for free account, like I said, certainly better than one of the others. Some question types are AWOG, generated image content. There are pretty simple ways around it. Obviously, I didn't use any paid content when I did that. And there are audio videos you can use to bring feature creativity but not as much as something like Kahoot, or sort of in a different way, I guess. Faster response to students at maybe at a different level in their ability or in their learning in a particular time, along with their digital literacy skills may be advantaged. However, unlike Quizlet, when one person has finished, the game continues. Okay, so remember with Quizlet, when the team at the back answers all the questions correctly, the game ends. So in that sense, it's like a rat race. It's a real rush. That's not too exciting, which it is. This allows the students to go at their own pace. So you might finish 5 minutes earlier than another student, or learner A might finish 5 minutes faster than learner B, but learner B will be finished when learner B has finished the quiz. So that I think that's a real advantage of this particular platform. All right. Any questions? Okay, your turn. It's my favorite part. Okay, if you wish to do this in pairs, you can, or if you wish to do this in groups, you can, or if you wish to do it individually, you can. I'll leave it to you. Or if you wish to do it individually and just, step in and help your colleague as you go. But I want you to choose a digital tool, or you can choose digital tools if you like, and I want you to make a digital assessment for your teaching and learning context.
So can be any tool.
Any tool.
Not
It can
only
be,
that,
if you want to use ChatGPT from last week, you can. If you wish to use another tool that you're interested in using that we haven't covered in the sessions, also totally fine. just so long as, hopefully you're able to consider some of the points we sort of thought and effectively discussed in the three sessions to create an assessment. That's all I really want to see. So yes, when you are building your assessment, make sure, try to focus on the clarity of the task. A couple of times I didn't scaffold the tasks very well to you, you sort of have to find that as you go. Obviously you don't want that when you're leading the assessment. Think about the outcomes, whether that's skills aligned, or if that's objectives aligned, then the learner experience. We're trying to reimagine different ways of assessing student progress in a way that is, commensurate with being a learner in 2025. So it needs to have an element of interactivity and engagement. And if you can make assessment more fun than traditional methods, that's also good for student retention and student experience. And things like that. All those important things. Give us support. Work mostly in international education, so see how that goes. If you do create an assessment and if you would like to test it on your peers, or if you would like to test it on me, if you give me a QR code, I'd be more than happy to try. If you'd rather not, that's fine as well. I think my lawyer, they must have paid on it for yeah. Yeah, because I think there's a whole institution that has this. Yeah, so like if you are.
It doesn't recognise now, it's just rooms and.
It's a bit US.
So we could do the admin school.
Is the Avenue School, is that nearby?
We host it.
Is it?
Yeah, doesn't
You
it?
could do the Mountain District Community College.
Is that this one, or is that in Oregon?
Well, they've changed their name, haven't they?
I changed the name.
So we could use that one.
Is that what we did?
You decide, I bear no responsibility for this. I only recently, because this is my personal account that I use. I can't remember what it shows.
I just said not part of any organisation.
Good.
This is this audio.
Nice. Sounds quite like yeah, that's maybe start before. No,
I've got some other stuff on.
So you want to create an assessment, Yeah, they call it assessments, obviously, and then create from scratch. And then you can choose.
How do I get all of it?
I'll show you later. You can just choose your questions up. So the ones that have, their paywall, you can only do the base ones, a couple of times, each one. You get to choose the question. And then, yeah. Actually, please fix your changes from last week. Right there.
Creative.
It's that little talk about for minutes and audio. And then get them to
Yay! I'm like clicking the wrong thing.
It's easy.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the big, so we have fun with that. Now,
Yeah. It is very easy.
I love it.
Say, particularly if you're English language teaching, I think so, which is, yeah. If you're English language
Like
teaching,
the-
I would say the responsibility of the elementary levels and then say, wait, correct. Yeah, so like. That's right, yeah.
I didn't like that.
Doesn't sound.
Well, other than if you make the question really long and wordy, then that would be problematic, but that's the class.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like the fact that, like,
You're one,
yeah, really clever or savvy.
yeah, you're the ones that have created the questions, so I want to and able to that space. Spaces, so, yeah. The camera's just good enough to do that.
Right, cooking before too, so it's.
And I put short questions on the screen.
move the slot.
Oh, man.
So it's basically based on the
Yeah.
Did you notice these community college ones?
No, not all in the organisation.
Yeah, so probably was one of the.
Oh, and that.
Yes, definitely. Basically, start not belonging to an organisation.
Yeah, I mean, these are good, like, I can apply some to the common sense. So choose now, choose one. Remember it's in four, which is feedback, 100 milligrams and more than that. Absolutely, yeah. You can really test that it's on the. We would want to consider the. There as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can adjust the questions, or you can target certain areas of the text. We can adjust the questions by sound. You can do 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question comes with your own multiple choice, which is. Yeah.
Good relationships, it's not if you're trying to do all classes, good relationship.
Doesn't depend on like pictures and drinks.
No, it's fine, you know. No, that's all right. I'm just trying to. It's a 5-star. 78%, not bad. Yeah.
Didn't read the text. Maybe 11% on child hospitalizations because of maybe requires that. That question will be honest. Including on the redemption round. Now, what did you do? Did you just upload it?
So if I had it, for example, if I had a strategy, so which is good, if you wanted to correct. Yeah, right.
Very well, it means twice.
Yeah. So, if you were doing it from that slow, that's pretty. That's
Yeah, you know what, right, that's one of the ways I was gonna say. If we just start now, I can have a look and see how this is going.
Ah, you killed me.
Well, it's a good way of saying. How we actually.
We only always need information to facilitate.
I think the video and the image, I would think it would. No, because it should be out here.
It's a big.
It is.
Oh, that's the idea. Somebody heard. Something wrong. You'll say it's nuts.
Let's talk about. It's good, it's very clear. Yeah, I think you can only use the image and
Yeah, your audio is pretty good.
That's it, no? It's not, use it. So now you that's one off. Not only basic, do video image. Okay.
It's kind of
Yeah, rather than what the biggest players here. Yeah. Just like you do.
Adjective, adverb, pronoun, interjection, conjunction, preposition.
well, you do, it's also, yeah, that's why I sort of say it's probably basic. But it just depends on what it is.
Yeah, it is.
And now, names of person, place, things with ideas. For example, house, teacher, cup, shop. My teacher is a very nice person. The noun of this sentence is teacher. He is going to go on holiday to China. There are two nouns in the sentence. The first noun is a, because it's the person's name. The second noun is China, because it's the name of the place.
You might be interested in seeing how the video works, that's what they're doing actually. Select the video, attach to your question.
They have to go in and use the
But each of you, what is it now? At the same time, saying, what's the But that's what the learners, even the learners are at this point. All of us, all of us, waiting to get some. That's what we're all about. I've just got one class that we're going to show up with. All the leveling that was just going work anyway. Too complicated, and do a lot of tearing up.
Yeah, because
Because I can't, because some will start and they can't speak really good. But they're there and they're friends. That means it's like that. And the thing is that they do slow, you find you can come on later and they like so.
Yeah.
That's work. Yeah. I even got them to start sort of teaching me how to write chants and trying characters on the door and stuff so they feel like they've got something to offer. Not really understand. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are.
Do you use this kind of thing all the
I mean, that's much of this is about social optimization, that's what I was saying at the time. It looks like it's
This is another, I'm thinking, I'm just reading down to the document. But, usually, I was just gonna say, I'm sitting in the selector section of the text. Yeah, but this is a huge one today. Please represent the text.
Cool. Yeah.
So you'll see money. It's a great one.
Yeah. Last thing, a lot of pros and cons analysis as well.
Yeah.
Use risk. Basically, you feed it a PowerPoint, PowerPoint presentation or a video or a PDF about something, create a lesson plan, maybe PowerPoint level.
Yeah, okay, yeah, right.
What I saw of it, but I haven't used it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've done a little bit of combining ChatGPT to help by uploading the PowerPoint or video. It's more like, it's a marketing scaffold. Yeah, I sort of was showing some of my opportunities students the other day, how to brainstorm using it. You know, if it's what's to create a lesson, which is the language. And that's good. It's like utilizing those question marks. These some examples of.
The brisk one is very much in what we further
Getting it out.
It was an online tutorial on how to do that. Yeah, well, now I'm saying you get a nice lesson back. The video was already set out.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I included a section on utilizing imperatives and questions form, so that the students are better equipped to get it out. Because they're asking me questions. That's a big thing. We can't assume that just because ChatGPT exists, particularly AL students, we can't assume you don't have user experience there. That's it. And if you can teach some good functional language skills to use the platforms, then I think, yeah, you're getting a lot done.
I feel like that's often the real job of the teacher, teaching people how to ask the right questions.
Absolutely. It's a huge opportunity.
This is what we need to do. Yeah. How are you going to get there? Yeah. No, I agree. Okay, so a couple more minutes to play around with anything. If you have any questions, let me know. If you'd like me to have a look at anything, that would be good too. I'm feeling very confident that you'll be able to include these tools in your teaching practice as you wish. ChatGPT wasn't born yesterday, It wouldn't take her, made up birthday. Oops. Too many people are using ChatGPT as their pseudo girlfriend at the moment. Therapists. Yeah, therapists, yeah. Yeah, my research, I think people do it. Yeah, interesting. This isn't, yeah. I'm wondering where we're heading because so many people talking to a machine, albeit, it's seemingly human ones are easier and less threatening than supporting the ocean. It's cheaper too.
Yeah.
No wait times for ChatGPT.
But even like if we thought about the idea of what most therapists do is akin to what a good friend should be able to do, but not necessarily have a good friend in the end. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they're like,
So,
okay, how do you use things for sort of like this movie chat box?
yeah.
And I have occasionally got things, and quite often you can just find it with already created online for film.
Yeah.
And you just run that, because everyone's on Zoom anyway, so you just get to play it from there.
Yeah.
All right, so yep, that was very heartening to see the way you're able to use those different tools. I'm feeling very confident that you'll be able to use them in your teaching practice. Just a reminder, if you want to use this document, including the slides, as a way to kind of document, plan, reflect, create an assessment template, you're welcome to. I'm happy to share that.
Can you go back? Sorry.
Pardon?
Your email with the PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Yep.
I always do, when I send out the certificates.
No, that's all right, yeah, anything new you want me to do.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's just got some kind of like prompts and some reflection points and different ways you can kind of think about conceptualizing a digital assessment in your teaching. And just, yeah, some sort of takeaways from all the toolkits that we've looked at. Choosing the right tool. I think some of you feel particularly comfortable with certain tools and maybe not so with others, which is great. But I would encourage you to experiment with all of the tools because they do provide unique experiences for you and your learners. And yeah, just pay attention to the degree of feedback and the amount of learners that can be engaged with each particular tool as well. It's always important to keep tasks clear and scaffolded, so clear instructions. Talk to your students about what they're actually required to do. I've tried at different times to model how not to do the particular delivery, and you've been able to catch on how it can be done, which is great. Try to use different media or variety of media, images, audio, sentences. Mix up the question types, multiple choice questions, matching spelling. Combine listening, reading, writing, different sort of cultural skills-based, everyday functional, everyday survival, or whatever it is the content discipline that you're involved in. Progress and feedback, generally in free versions, provide pretty basic feedback. You can also encourage the use of screenshots. More detailed reports are available with paid subscriptions. Though, as I've said a few times, I do think the way wall, you want to call it way, but for some reason I don't know why, but that does tend to provide for a free tool, pretty high quality analytics, I think, for sort of what we're assessing in our learners. Learner needs, particularly with live delivery, pair work, group work, pairing stronger learners with not as strong learners, and then mixing groups, thinking of any ways we can move more later with differentiators. Great. I think at this point it's probably best to close towards assessment, but I assume moving forward, although education providers will be incorporating digital assessments into summative assessment for a variety of reasons. There's also ways that you can integrate
across different tasks as well. And I hope that you're able to use these in your practice and as a way to assess learner progress. So yep, next steps. Obviously, this is the last workshop, but I would like it if you continue exploring, or I would like it for you to continue exploring digital tools to enhance your teaching and assessment strategies, as well as student engagement and engagement with students. Please reflect on how it's going. How are your students enjoying the experience? How are you? Are you able to meaningfully check in on student progress? In what ways can that be improved? In what ways are you able to? In what ways perhaps you're not able to? In what ways do you need to bring in other modes of informal assessment to check in where your students are at? As per usual, you've got these tables and documents if you wish. You may wish to experiment with small assessments with engagement with small groups, assess with your peers, your colleagues, your friends, your family, and your students in informal low-stakes environments to see how the assessment tools and how the activities that you create, how they can work together, and how they can carry out. Part of my employment here is to create a resource kit. I've done a fair number of this, but that will be, I'll talk with my colleagues, let me say that, about when that will be distributed. So you will have access to this information with examples, with scaffolding, in a way that's user-friendly for you moving forward. You're not expected to just, leave these workshops and just start doing this as you wish. You will, I mean, if you can do that, that's wonderful, but you will have access to the resource kit as well. And it is engaging. There will be links with videos and things like that for you to access as well. So hopefully you'll be feeling well supported should you wish to engage with that. And just some reminders, not necessarily reminders, but just a very brief summary of a variety of different tools, whether they're for engaging, like an engaging student experience, or if you're looking at using for assessment. Ultimately, they are designed to enhance teaching practice and student experience and not replace the teacher. Okay. You're all still very important and irreplaceable, and long may that be the case. Teacher agency is very important. Okay, we may be concerned about the role of AI and its impact on us and our roles, but at the end of the day, we are still facilitators who are able to regulate the outputs of AI for the benefit of our students and for the learning experience of our students and for our students, and we can still continue to do that. And we still need to really engage with our students, build relationships with them, know who they are, learn what they do well, learn areas these more, while sort of considering the learning needs and outcomes and aspirations of our learners. And as with anything, trial and error is really important, and we need to reflect on what works well and what could be improved, and then continue to refine and improve while we're producing. Cool. If you could spend 90 seconds completing my survey. I wasn't issued one from MDLC today, so this is mine.
Sorry, I just didn't get to it.
No,
That's all right. If I get time, I'll send one out. If I don't get time, you won't get one.
That's fine. Good. Yeah, so just a quick little question. If you have any questions about anything now, I'm happy to answer anything to the best of my ability. We can split this out, it's fine.
I'll email out the same survey from the previous workshop, and just email it back to me. If I find it for you.
All right, well, thanks for coming to all the sessions. I really enjoyed delivering them, and it's been really nice to see the discussions and the interaction and the engagement from all of you. I feel very confident that you'll be able to implement these strategies to enhance your teaching and enhance the experience of your learners in a way that's really constructive and aligned with, their learning needs and the outcomes of the courses you're teaching and everything like that. So I wish you all the very best in your futures, and thanks for coming. And see you near the Dandenongs again sometime soon. I know.
Thank you very much, Ash, for the workshops, and we really enjoyed them, and hope it was helpful. We look forward to getting our resource so we can do some more playing around. And hope to see you again in the future.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thanks, Ash.
Yes.